everyone, Lauren Culp, your publisher and CEO at CUInsight.com, and I am bringing you a 3 questions video interview today with a very special guest. Joining me is the Chief Sales Officer at Trellance, Patrick McElhenie. Patrick, I'm so excited to have you here. Thanks for taking the time.
Glad to be here.
Well, we're going to talk about data today, and specifically some of the challenges around data. So diving right in, I know that it seems like becoming data-driven is really a goal of every organization today, but can you explain why specifically it's important for credit unions?
Absolutely. It is so true. I just read that in a recent survey, 94% of organizations have it in their strategic roadmap that they really want to develop this data and analytics capability. In fact, McKinsey did a recent study that said a financial institution is 23 times more likely to acquire new members and new customers, and 6 times more likely to retain members and customers if they have a data-driven culture. And that's why it's so imperative, I believe, for the credit union market and for credit unions to adopt this credit or this data strategy. Think about, and I know it's an old analogy, but to me, it really applies to data and analytics. And when you go to the doctor, you want to provide that doctor as much information about you as possible. Right. I mean, you want to make sure that they're making an informed decision. So why wouldn't a credit union or any other financial institution want to do as much with the information that they have? Because they have a treasure trove of information on that individual, both transactional data and other data that really can paint a picture of what a member is like. So using that data to then prescribe treatments, if you will, for a member can really lead to some really big gains, not just for the member, but also for the credit union.
Well, with that, it sounds like it's super important, and I think we all would agree that it is. But what do you see really standing in the way of credit unions that want to do more with data?
That's a great question. Number one, it comes down to first, organizational priority. Some credit unions and some organizations don't start at the top. It has to be something that leadership, executive leadership commit to make it an organizational priority so that it disseminates down throughout the entire organization. And that kind of leads to then lack of data culture. So the ability to use data to drive strategic decisions, to drive even daily decisions, is a big cultural shift. It is a change in behavior from frontline staff all the way up to the top. So then there's no clear strategy in place. It really has to begin with that strategy with a very clear focus. That's really important. And one of the biggest things we see is data silos. If you think about in any organization, but specifically credit unions, think about where all the data is kept. Marketing has their own data. Finance has their own data. Lending has their own data. All this data really resides in these different domains that exist within the credit union. And the power of data and analytics, bringing all of that together so you get a full view of the member. And so data silos can really get in the way. It's a lack of training at times as well. You need some people that understand how to work the data. You need people, statisticians, data scientists. That can get in the way. However, you don't always need to have a full business intelligence team on staff to get into data analytics. With an organization like Trellance, we do that for credit unions. So to think that you need this full staff and all these people to do it is a bit of a myth. And really, bad data can get in the way. When we talk with our customers, we do focus on data quality, because there's so many different inputs that go into the cores, that goes into your core, that goes into your LOS, that goes into your CRM. There's a lot of data inaccuracies there. It's inconsistent. And so bad data can get in the way as well.
Well, what would you say that the ideal process to become data-driven looks like? What does that look like for credit unions?
I think there's this common misunderstanding that to become data-driven, it takes a lot of effort, and you have to have all this right way to do it. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. I think people get too rigid about, oh my gosh, we have to, again, create these teams. We have to have this full blown analytics platform, and being too rigid does become an obstacle. You can start small, you take a small bite and then work your way up. And there's no right or wrong way to get started. Every credit union has a strategic imperative. They have a strategic goal. They're defining what's important for their success and for their members' success. So when you're starting that data strategy, you need to begin with the end in mind. What are you really trying to solve for? Are you trying to solve for, reducing interest rate risk? Are you trying to solve for ensuring that we're increasing wallet share with our members? Begin with the end in mind and then work your way back to determine what you're going to need from a data perspective. Never try to boil the ocean. I believe some organizations just try to start too big when they can really just start pretty small. And then transformation. This is a transformative experience. It's one step at a time, because there's so many things you do want to look at to ensure that the outcome is what you're obtaining. There's data governance, data management. So there's a lot of steps in the process. And those steps are key because it can drive the data quality and other outcomes. And that's where an organization like Trellance, where we have helped numerous credit unions get started on this journey, whether they're trying to go with a full-blown platform or they're trying to take that small bite. We helped them along the way, and they've seen some pretty good results.
Amazing. Well, it sounds like definitely working with Trellance be a really great opportunity for credit unions who are looking to become more data-driven. So Patrick, thank you so much. We're going to link to your contact information here and that of your team so that anybody who's interested can get in touch with you, learn more about the process of becoming data-driven with all of the best practices that you and your team have.
Thank you for your time today.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for your time.